Hi, everyone. If you're interested in what is a psychic medium reading and how does it work, you're in the right place. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Ev Zervoudakis, founder of Holistic Healing Astrology, and I want to tell you how I do my readings, especially the mediumship readings, because each medium is unique and has their own way of tapping in. So I took extensive notes so I could stay on track. So a medium is a person that is in between and brings and bridges the non-physical with the physical world together. And that's a gift I had from day one. I just didn't understand it. But I'm here to explain to you as much as I can so you understand it because you probably have these gifts too. I believe everybody has had these gifts. They just don't understand that they are real, and when you're told that they're not real and it's suppressed, then you lose that ability. So it starts with a person wanting clarity and certainty. So for example, I had a reading just the other day, and this person was just beside herself because she really wanted answers. She couldn't make sense of what she was feeling and what was going on in her mind. It was like a back and forth, a confusion. She needed clarity and some validation. And so the invisible world hears or understands or knows what's her intention. And because it's a force, it's energy. So the invisible world is real, it's alive, it's energetic. So its purpose and job and function is to get the answers, to bridge the answers to that person that maybe they're in charge of or they've committed to help. So we're all born with these guardian angels. And what happens is they get that information to their person that they're in charge of. So, how do they do that? They find the appropriate psychic or psychic medium to fulfill this intention that the client has. So that's how it starts, okay? And then the invisible world is any of the following: your spirit guide, your angels, and they're all spirits of truth, okay? Yes, some people will argue that there are dark spirits, and yes, of course, but the dark spirits help us understand and learn. That's how we get the light, through the dark. If you don't have any dark, then you can't receive the light. So that's just the way it works. I didn't make this stuff up. That's the laws of the universe. So I only work with the spirit of truth, and that is the creator. And my mom is a gatekeeper who filters all the people that come through. And she is in the invisible realm, and she takes care of my gate, make sure that I can fulfill the needs of those people that come to me. I made a pact or a contract with God, the creator, to only send me people that I can help, no one else, period. It's not about the money. It's if I can't help the person, don't even send them my way. If they're psychic addicts and they just want to ask a frivolous question that's been asked a million times because they're addicted to psychics, that's not for me, okay? There are other people that will indulge in that, but that's not what we do here. So anyhow, um, and I have a short meeting to see over the phone through Zoom to see what's going on, and then we set up a following meeting, a session, if that's what indeed they want, is a medium reading or a psychic reading or an astrology natal chart reading or a forecast or a combination of everything. The woman that called me before it was complicated case, so we had a combination because it was like a fire hose. There was all this stuff going on, and she kept suppressing it and suppressing it. And then she gets in touch with me and everything starts making sense to her. So it was like one thing led to another. So we had to do it over, 2 sessions. But I'm not one of these that tell you, yes, you're cursed and you're going to have to come to me, 7 times in the next month. And you're going to have to give me, your life savings, cut off your right finger, because you've been cursed, and it's going to cost you thousands of dollars, and just take your student loan and give it to me. Yeah, this stuff happens. But that's what doesn't happen here. Just to be very clear, all right? Because we work with the spirit of truth. And anyhow, behind the scenes, so once I set up the appointment, now spirit already knows that the appointment has been set, and they're all bitten at the bit, they're all biting at the bit to get the information out. They're all excited. Imagine the frustration of being invisible and you cannot be heard. Okay? But they have all this stuff to tell you because they love you. All right? Well, that being said, um, a lot starts happening. We get physical signs, and you may have experienced this yourself and you just didn't understand it. You might close your eyes and see these little dots of purple or blue or green. Those could be archangels. You could have lights flickering. You could smell different smells, that maybe the aftershave of your loved one, or a floral scent. Also, you could have street lights going off and going back on. Um, Anything like that. TV turning on, doorbells ringing, phones ringing, computers and electronics glitching out. So that's because the invisible world is frequency and energy. All right. So if we just grab something over here, a little tiny crystal, this crystal vibrates. Okay. It's citrine, and it carries energy with it because it vibrates. And that's how a lot of the quartz watches work, because if you cut this down to a certain size, it will go back and forth, vibrate, and keep perfect time based on the crystal. So when I realized that decades ago, I said, oh my gosh, they're alive. Yes, everything is alive, sort of, because it has frequencies. So anyhow, so I make sure, ringing. Oh, then the ritual. What I do behind the scenes is I prepare with prayers, intentions. I clear the space. I'll do something like this. I have a selenite wand, and I'll just go over and around just to clear it. And then I'll, clear the space. I'll burn my favorite incense. I apply the holy oil on my wrists. I do that every day anyhow. I'll breathe, I center, and I'll use some appropriate crystals that I find I need to have. I'll light my candle too, because only candle light will attract spirit, okay? Not artificial light. Then I make sure that I'm hydrated. So I'm always drinking plenty of water, and because water conducts electricity, we're dealing with electrical energy and vibrations. So then I take out multiple sheets of paper like this, and I have a handful of pencils. I like my pencils because paper, pencils, it all comes from the earth. It helps ground me because this is electrical energy and I don't want to be too zapped up. The pencil grounds me and helps get a real positive and practical message. All right. I feel that it works for me. It's very grounding. If I don't get the immediate thoughts or ideas or knowingness or psychic imprints, I'll ask the question again, and I scribble on the paper like this, and just that motion clears my energy, and then I'm able to receive. Okay? I write down, or sometimes I'll write down the same phrase over and over, like, what do I need to know? What do I need to know? I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. And then it will start coming through. Practice makes perfect, because the more you do it, the more you'll get on the paper. Well, with this particular person, it was a 4-page automatic writing session, and my hands and my brain were fried. I mean, it was a lot coming in, and it was a very, very powerful reading. But we got to the answers of everything, and I was very pleased with that. So I don't want to jump around too much, but the other thing is uh, we we take in as much as we can, and sometimes the flow of information is gushing like a fire hose, and sometimes it's just a trickle like drops. It all depends on the spirit, and it depends on your connection. Also, you could have a lot of different entities coming through because they're like, I want to go first. No, I want to go first. Can you imagine? And but that's what really happens. So the most aggressive personality is going to be first, even though it might not be the closest in lineage. It might not be your mother. It might be your uncle because he was very opinionated and very tough, and he's like, I want to say something. So we let him. Everybody goes through. We let everybody know that they're going to have their chance, and that's all there is to it. We have to allow what comes in at their own time and their own pace. So then I'll tell Spirit to hang out and to be available until the end of the reading. After the reading, I send them back to their realm, wherever they belong. And the client, or what we call the sitter, as we call them, right, may have had numerous signs from Spirit and they didn't even know it. Like they may see angel numbers 111, 555, changes and this and that. If you don't know what an angel number is, Google it, and if something resonates with you, that's what it means. You don't have to, go to a certain person to get that kind of answer. Just feel in your heart, yeah, that makes sense. But if what you read on the internet doesn't resonate, then that's not for you. But usually, because Spirit works with electronics, it will be the first thing that comes up. And now it's all AI generated, which I find fascinating because there's something very magical about the AI and where we are today. I'm not one of those doom and gloomers about AI, although if you have a negative approach to AI, you could do a lot of amazingly dark things with AI, as a lot of the insurance companies do, to deny people their rights to have coverage. But that's a whole nother topic. So on Zoom or on a telephone call, I read all my notes. That way, if they interrupt, which is very allowable, then I just mark off on the paper where I left off, and we could go off on a tangent or have that conversation, which reveals the evidence that their loved ones are real, alive, listening, and communicating with us using me as the mouthpiece. Because it's amazing. There's no way that anyone could figure this out. And that's what we call evidential psychic medium readings. So if you have any comments or questions or have experienced any of these things, please share with us on this platform, because it's about teaching everybody how this stuff works. It's not taboo in my world over here. This is something that I grew up with, but it was taboo. I was not allowed to talk about it. Well, now I could talk about it, and God willing, but we all need to understand it because they're here to help, okay? So I promise that I will read all the answers or the questions, and I'll answer everything. And if you want a private reading, hop over to our website. It's in the bio. It's holistichealingastrology.com, holistic healing astrology, one big long word.com. And I use a / so you get to the right website. Okay, thank you again. And I'd love to hear what you think. Bye bye.